are you having to reinstall something if it's not already paid?
The reason it's not installed is because men say happy wife, happy
Why
life.
is it changing?
Because men say happy wife, happy life. Because the men are out of
Why are
order.
we saying that, though?
Because if you're out of order, you'll allow your nation to be out of order. That's my point.
Emotional level
Sirach
of
chapter
intelligence
42.
from
It's the
5,000,
book of
4,000,
Sirach,
3,000
chapter
years
62
ago, there's a
and
problem.
verse 9.
42 and verse 9. Go ahead. You was there.
You
You
heard
was
that
at the
one?
right place. 42 and
And
9.
we're
I'm
still
listening.
emotionally stable. It's biblical times, and we're going through that. Something's wrong with man.
I just said you something wrong with you. I just said that. I said something wrong
I'm
with
a
you.
great husband.
No, but the order is off. The mind is off. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Sirach 42. I just said
It's the
that.
book of Sirach,
Sirach
chapter
42. Because and my wife don't wear the pants, right? She don't run the house, right? There's no happy wife, happy life because that's what the Bible says. And your house is different. That's fine. That's fine. Go ahead. Read that. And that's not biblical. That's what I'm telling you. Go ahead.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 42 and verse 9.
Yep.
The father waiteth for the daughter when no man knows. And he verse 9. The father waiteth for the daughter where no man knoweth.
So the father waits for the daughter when no man knows. He stays up at night and looks after his daughter. Go ahead.
And the care for her taketh away sleep.
The care for his daughter take away sleep. What? Because he's concerned about her well-being. Go ahead.
When she is young, lest she pass away the flower of her age.
That's how a lot of women end up what? Sleeping with someone before the time. She passed away the flower of her age because the father doesn't have supervision over her. So in the Bible, the father was over her from the time she went from the father all the way to the husband.
Right.
She was not able to do whatever she wanted. That's not biblical, but a lot of women are doing whatever they want now, and it's destroying society. Right? Go to give me Numbers chapter 30 real quick. And now I'm coming to your question, my brother in the chair. Numbers 30 about that. Alright, that's fine. If he ain't got a question, I keep going. Numbers chapter 30, yep, about the prayer.
Verse 3. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 30 and verse 3.
Watch this. This is how deep the father's supervision over a woman went, and then watch who it transitions to. Go ahead.
If a woman also vow a vow unto the Lord.
So a woman vowed a vow to the Lord. She prayed to the Lord. She said, I promise you, Lord, I'm going to do this. Go ahead.
And bind herself by a bond.
She made a bond to God. Go ahead.
Being in her father's house.
She was in her father's house under his supervision. Go ahead.
In her youth. And her father hear her vow. In her bond wherewith she hath bound her soul.
Yep.
And her father shall hold his peace at it.
So if her father allows her to make that vow to God, because he's hearing her pray out loud, go ahead.
Then all her vows shall stand.
Then her vow will stand. Go ahead.
And every bond wherewith she hath bound her soul shall stand.
Go on.
But if her father disallow her,
if her father say, I don't want to allow that, right? She promises to God, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and the father hears it, and he says, nah, that's not gonna stand with God. Go ahead.
In that day that he heareth, now not any of her vows or her bonds wherewith she hath bound her soul shall stand.
So if her father disallowed it, saying her vow does not stand, and her vow didn't stand with God, her father was the connection between her and God. Her father could say, what you just prayed, God don't hear that. He had that power with God. Father still have that on the earth today. That's a part of the issue we have. We don't understand the level of power we have. Your wife, your daughter, your children are connected to God through you.
That's 1 Corinthians 11.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Come on.
And the Lord shall forgive her because her father disallowed her.
The Lord will forgive her because her father said, don't honor that promise that she gave to you. Go ahead.
And if she had at all an husband when she vowed or uttered.
So now it transitions from the father to the husband because that's the way order was set up. It went from a father to a husband. A woman wasn't allowed to be independent. There's no independent women in the Bible. That doesn't exist. That exists in America because America has destroyed the mind of the black woman here. Go ahead.
Or uttered out of her lips, wherewith her bond, she bound her soul.
Couldn't find it, could you? It ain't there. It there.
Verse 7. And her husband heard it, and held his peace at her, in the day he heard it.
Yep.
Then her vows shall stand, and her bonds wherewith she bound her soul shall stand.
Yep.
But if her husband disallow her on that day that he heard it.
So if her husband heard her prayer and he said, nah, I'm not going to answer that prayer. I don't want the Lord to answer it. I don't want the Lord to stand by that vow. Go ahead.
Then he shall make her vow what she vowed, and that which she uttered out of her lips, wherewith she bound her soul of none effect.
So the husband had the ability to negate her prayer to God. That's what brothers don't understand. They take on a wife. They don't understand that they are the person that has literally been put over that woman in a spiritual sense. Without you being there as a protection for her, she would vow things, she would pray things, she would do things that are against God. That's why a husband was set up in the first place. Adam was created and he was to be over Eve. His issue was he listened to his wife. That's why 50-50 is an issue. Because in the beginning, there was the 50-50 is what got us in trouble. A man saying, I'm going to listen to my wife's opinion and not listen to God's first and foremost. So that's how you create disorder in households. Is that men are listening to their wives, they don't understand their role. And it's not to say if your wife has a great idea, you don't take it. That's not my point. But what a lot of men do is they follow their wife because they want to make their wife happy. Right? They want their wife to be joyous.
My wife, she's a natural leader. And I'm convinced God gave
You the leader in your house, I'm telling you.
No, I'm telling you, we're both leaders because we give it 100.
You a leader.
It ain't 50-50.
So she should follow you and you shouldn't follow her? Which one?
Both ways.
So in what instances do you follow her?
I'm out here because of my wife.
Okay, but listen to what I'm saying. In what instances do you follow her? So I can make it clear. I just said that she
I
has
physically follow her.
I said if she has a good idea, there's nothing wrong with that. But should you follow her when she goes against what God says to do, or your order and your morals as a man?
I wouldn't follow another man if he went against
That's
God.
my point. So that's what. That's
But why
what
are you singling it out as if it's women that are problem? It's not a woman issue that you're talking
Men
about.
are the issue. That's what I've been saying this whole time. Men are the issue that follow those women.
Then how is it only women? And women are done without us, but we the ones that
Because I'm showing you what the Bible says. You got to protect her. That's your responsibility. Read 1 Peter 3 verse 7. She's easily influenced, and that's what
She
you don't
can take
understand.
the word of God and protect herself. You don't think so?
No, she's not capable. I'm gonna show you.
Why not?
Because we just read it.
Because since women come from us, they're not capable of having their own foundation in God without us.
They need male leaders over them. It's all throughout the Bible.
Okay.
That's what the Bible says. 1 Peter 3 and 7.
It's the book of 1 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 7.
Because think about it, right? Your woman may not follow you, but she follows that white man on TV. She follows the doctrines of her boss. She follows the different shows that she watches. Something is influencing her. If you're not influencing her, something is in her mind to allow her to go, right? And the Bible says she was supposed to follow you. That's the issue. We got to disconnect because you don't understand she's supposed to follow you.
When you fall short, and she's supposed to follow you even when you're wrong?
No, she's supposed to correct me according. She's supposed to tell me what the scriptures say. 100%.
So she has her own foundation then.
No, not all the time. Not if you don't put it there. That's my point. You have to put it there in order for it to be established. Or her father would have to put it there. You understand what I'm saying?
No.
So you have women in the Bible.
No.
What if her father dies?
What if her father dies and she was over the leaders in the community? We had elders back then. We don't have elders right now. We don't got elders. That's the issue we got.
What if they didn't know their daddy?
So because we don't have elders, we got men that just give them any doctrine, and that creates the issue. What if they don't know their daddy? They still have elders. They had elders. There's orphans in the Bible. We took care of orphans.
That's my question.
Yes, sir. I'm
So
listening.
you said men are trees in the Bible, Garden of Eden. The men
It's
are
a
trees.
parable, and
It's
that
a parable.
parable
There are
men
men
are
there.
trees.
There are men
Yeah.
there. But then God says it's not good for man to be alone. If there's other men there, how's he alone?
He was alone because he didn't have a wife to help him. That's the alone he was referring to. Meaning what? You need somebody to assist you on your day-to-day.
It's
You
not
didn't
good
have
for man
that.
to be alone. So if there's other men,
Right,
you're not
he's
alone.
referring- he's referring- no, he had other men. I'm sure he
Alone.
has-
Alone.
Give me second Ezra chapter 3. There are other men.
Dictionary
What's
man.
that? I'm telling you, I got to answer.
Dictionary man. What's alone in the dictionary say?
Alone in the dictionary means what?
Yeah, he defined words in the dictionary. What does dictionary mean in the
We can
dictionary?
pull it up. But
Yeah, pull it up.
alone there is referring to him not having a wife.
No,
Let me show
it's
you.
about being
Second
alone.
Ezra 3 and
No
verse
one
6.
else being there. That's what alone
Show me the verse and I'm going to show you my verse.
I have a quick
Before you go, I'm going to answer him and then I'm coming back. Second Ezra 3 and verse 6. Watch.
It's the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 3 and verse 6. And thou leddest him into paradise,
This is Adam. He was led into paradise. Go ahead.
which his right hand had planted.
Go ahead. His right hand planted. God planted it. Go ahead.
Before ever the earth came forth.
So paradise was there. Go on.
And unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he had transgressed. And immediately thou appointed death in him
Right. Because he sinned. Go ahead.
and his generation,
And his generation. Meaning what? The people that came after him. Go ahead.
in whom came nations.
And who came what?
Nations.
Go ahead.
Tribe.
Tribes were there in the wilderness, right? In paradise. Go ahead.
People.
People. Go ahead.
And kindred out of number.
Okay. So the issue is that, hold on, wait. Oh, my brother, I'm with you. I know what you're saying. You're saying when I referred to Adam in the beginning, right? When he was alone in Genesis 2 and 18, he was alone at that point. When Eve came, he had children. So you're 100% right.
Other men that he was the ruler of.
Right. He became the ruler of other men after he had children.
No.
Correct.
That's not what you said.
Correct. Genesis 3. Go to Genesis 3. Wow. Go to Genesis 3. Because I'm with you. I know what you're saying now. No. The word alone there doesn't mean alone. What I'm referring to is.
You said that Eve was taking the doctrine of other men.
Yes, that happens in Genesis.
That
happens
could
in
be our
Genesis
children.
3 after his wife is created.
No.
That happens in Genesis 3 after his wife is created. That's the point.
So she's even the doctrine of her children?
Huh? Yes. Yes.
She's the adultery of her own children.
Yes, of her own children.
They didn't have kids yet, though.
She had all types of kids. I'm reading it right here. She had kids.
She didn't have kids. They didn't have kids.
She had kids, yes. No, Genesis 4 is when they had kids outside of the wilderness. That's what you don't understand. When she got kicked out of paradise, that's when she had kids in Genesis 4.
Right, exactly, son.
She had kids in the garden. It's telling you right here. Read that again. Watch.
Second Ezra chapter 3.
We reading it. You're not listening. Listen. Just listen. Just hear me out and hear the Bible. Hear me out and hear the Bible. Because I'm asking you for a verse that proves. No, you haven't. Read that. Second Ezra 3.
Second Ezra 3.
I'm coming to your question.
3,
You don't
verse
really want to
7.
answer. Go ahead.
And unto him thou gavest commandments of love thy way,
Yep.
which he transgressed.
So Adam broke the commandments. Why? Through his wife. Go ahead.
And immediately thou appointed death in him,
So a death was appointed to him. Go ahead.
in his generation,
And his generations, right? Referring to what? The children that he had. Go ahead.
in whom came nations,
And nations came out of Adam. Go ahead.
tribes,
Tribes came out of Adam. Go ahead. People came out of Adam. Go
and
ahead.
kindred out of the number.
See what I'm saying? So he had children, right? Now when you go to Genesis 4, he has children outside of the garden. So it's referring to that point in time when it goes into what? Cain and Abel and Cain, they get into basically Abel is slew, right? And it goes from there.
Was
So-
Adam? Was Adam the first man created,
Yes.
and then was Eve the first woman created?
Yes. So that's why that's why I went back and cleaned up what he was saying.
I've never heard of people in the besides
Right,
men.
that's the issue, right? The way we've heard the Bible is there were two people there and there was nobody else there. So when I'm going into the trees influencing him, that was Genesis 3. This is
So
after
she was
that.
the only woman at the time.
No, she was the only woman until she had children.
Did she have children at the time with a snake?
Yes, by that point she had children.
So
Because
there
remember,
were
when you
other
read the
women
Bible,
at the time.
yeah, because she had them. She had them. How can children have children? The way you're thinking about it is there's no time passing. They used to have children in 3 months because they were way more powerful. That's in the Bible. Huh?
Hold on.
Because they had sex. Yes. Wait, that's what you're doing right now. Your wife is your cousin. You don't know that. Wait. That's what's happening right now. Your wife comes from the 12 out there. She's your cousin.
Becca, what did I say? What
So when you're talking about the other men, they're offspring of them, or were they?
Yes, they were all from Adam. All the
We're
men
talking
that
about
we're
the
reading here
trees.
descended from Adam. Yes, when we go in the tree, those trees come from the other men that came from Adam.
So those are her children.
Yes, that she allowed to what? An evil spirit came into one of them and they influenced her. So that's what makes it even worse, right? She listened to what? Somebody that came from her versus listening to her husband who had all power. Right? So what was your question?
No, that was my question because that was the first time I ever heard of other men. And I was asking if there was other women.
That's what the scriptures say back then when they were powerful.
But there was.
Huh? Say it again.
So there was other men and women, but they were just
After
there.
she
no,
had them.
before. I'm
No, after
saying.
she had them. Yeah, after she had them. Because remember, he was alone, right? Just so you understand the timeline. He was alone. Then Eve comes. Then they have children. That's what we're reading about here in 2nd Ezra.
And then she's influenced by
Then she's influenced by one of those children. Those are the men that are in the
grandchildren
Bible.
or great-grandchildren.
Exactly, great-grandchildren, exactly.
1 verse 27.
That's fine, go ahead.
Yeah, Genesis chapter 1 and verse 27.
Watch.
So God created man in his own image.
He created man in his image, go ahead.
In the image of God created he him.
Uh-huh.
Male and female created he them.
You see, so there were multiple created, right? So what you got to understand is he was created first, right? Genesis 2 is breaking down how it went to that point. You had Adam first, then his wife, then they had offspring. That's what you read about in 2nd Ezra. Now when you get to chapter 3, time has passed, and she's grown, and she's being influenced by them. You understand? So that's the point it's making. So she wasn't alone in the wilderness. Huh? That's the point. Yep.
You said evil spirit came in and got one of our sons and
Came into Saul, but in that time, yes. An evil spirit came into a body.
but how come that wasn't preventable or prevented?
God could have prevented it, but it was all ordained. Right? Give me Wisdom of Solomon. Right?
Well, I mean, isn't that with the freedom of choice? Like, you know, he wants them to make the right choice and not just
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tell them that though.
No,
That's what they gotta understand.
But that's a
Tell them
setup,
that. No, it's not a setup. It's because look, think about it. If I give you $1 million, right? I give you $1 million and I just give it to you for free. Do you value it? You value it?
I value it.
So if you had to work for that $1 million, right? If you had to work for that $1 million, do you value it more or less?
Probably more.
More because you had to work for it. So what God understood about us is when he gave us paradise, we effed it off. Right? When you read Genesis chapter 3, Adam had paradise. He messed up. Solomon had a kingdom. Solomon messed up. So now the Lord's choice, right, and plan from the beginning was what? To make man work for the kingdom that he's going to give to them. Because they never took it and valued it. They never honored it. Right? So give me that. I think it's 14, the beginning of
God
all
could have prevented it, and that doesn't that make it his responsibility?
It was his plan. It was his plan not to prevent it. It was his plan for you to be in the position you're in. That's what I'm telling you. It's all in the Bible. It's his plan. Wisdom of Solomon, I think I'm on 14.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 27.
Watch, here's his plan, watch.
For the worshiping of idols,
So the worshiping of idols, go ahead.
not to be named,
So idols not to be named, go ahead.
is the beginning,
The beginning, right?
the cause,
The cause, go ahead.
and the end of all evil.
So the end of all evil is also going to be idolatry. So from the beginning, idolatry was an issue, and in the end, idolatry is going to be an issue.
Where are we at right here?
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 4. This is also in the park. Wisdom of Solomon 14 and verse 27. Read Isaiah 49 and verse 6 for him as well. It's a good question you asked, but it was all ordained by God, right? So the fall of...
If it's ordained by him, then doesn't that make him responsible for the action?
Yes. It's
No.
Yes.
There's
It's
a
deeper.
vulnerability in all of our flesh that he put there. And that's why I'm saying the woman is weaker. Why? Because she was made from the rib of a man. A man has a fleshly body, right? And then in the case of Adam, he was made from God. So he was stronger and more powerful as a vessel. And what the issue is, what the issue is that we are capable of sinning. Going back to what he just said in the chair. We're capable of sinning. Now, in order for you to get closer to God, you have to fight off the nature that's in you, that's sinful. That's what God wanted to see. Can you fight off the sin that's in you?
But wouldn't he know?
He knows you can fight it off.
But
Watch, I'm going to show you two things. Watch.
Isaiah chapter 49 and verse 6.
And then go to Romans. Watch.
And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob, and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth.
So the whole goal, right, was for God to wake up the 12 tribes of Israel from now in these times, right? So when we look at it, right, read verse 7, Isaiah 48 and verse 7. 46 and 10? Oh, 46.
It's the book of Isaiah chapter 46 and verse 10.
Come on.
Declaring the end from the beginning.
So the same way that the incident happened in Genesis with the woman, right, he declared the end from the beginning. Why? He was showing you that idolatry was going to play effect on the whole world. So everything that was done physically in the Bible was what? To show something metaphorically about how the nation of Israel would have to live and change. So in the beginning, the woman was out of order. The man listened to her. She went off into idolatry. And in the end, you see men that say happy wife, happy life, right? They listen to their wives. Things are out of order. And the Lord is showing you what? Idolatry is going to be the thing that takes many people down. He did that all by design. He gave all these people a chance to repent. That's what you got to understand. Go ahead.
Declaring the end from the beginning, and from the ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand.
My counsel shall stand. Go ahead.
And I will do all my pleasure.
That's what we don't understand. It was the Lord's pleasure to do what he did, right? Just like we hear and we talk about us going into captivity or Christianity is against the Bible, all these different things that we don't understand. The Lord did it because it's his pleasure, right? So give me Hebrews 4 verse 15 and I'm coming in. So this is what Christ was able to do, and this is what you got to do. Instead of being tempted by the woman or tempted by your lust, right? Or tempted by things of this world, what Christ was able to do when he walked the earth was this, Hebrews 4 verse 15. And this is what the Lord is looking for. It's the requirement. Like he said, right? You have the choice to either do what God tells you to do or not do what God tells you to do. And oftentimes, brothers is choosing to do the opposite of what God tells them to do. So there's a punishment for that. Go ahead.
It's the book of Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 15. For we have not an high priest which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmity.
So Christ, when he walked the earth, he was touched with the feelings of all our infirmity. When he walked by and he saw a woman with a big booty, he wanted to look too. Right? When he walked by and he saw somebody stealing something or robbing, he wanted to steal or rob too. But he didn't allow himself to what? Go off into it. That's the issue. Because I'm referring to that because what? A lot of men deal with multiple women. So when Christ walked the earth, you can't read about him what? Sleeping with women. He had discipline in that regard. And the reason he had discipline because although he was tempted, he didn't fall into it. Go ahead.
But was in all points tempted like as we are.
See, he's tempted like we are. Go ahead.
Yet without sin.
Yet without sin, meaning what? He didn't break any of those things. So even though he had the temptation to do such things, he never fell into it. And that's the issue, right? The issue with us is we fall into it. So what Christ is trying to do, what the Lord is trying to do is what? Strengthen our spirit so that we make the proper choice. That's why he left the law for us. That's why he gave us all these examples. So now you can see this is what happened with Adam and Eve. He listened to his wife. Now your job is to not repeat the same mistake. You understand what I'm saying to you, my brother? So he could have made it easy for you to stop it, but what he's trying to do is see if you actually choose him, right? Read John 14, 15. That's why he said this, and I'm coming. You got a question right there? Yeah, I heard it. Let me check time.
John chapter 14 verse 15. If ye love me, keep my commandments.
So the word if is conditional, right? You hear me, my brother? The word if is conditional. He said, if you love me, keep my commandment. The reason he had to say if there is because a lot of people don't love God. right? A lot of people love the stars, the moon, they love their wife. So they create all these idols that are against the Bible. And he said, if you love me, keep my commandments. Go ahead, read it again.
Verse 15, if ye love me, keep my commandments.
So if you love God, you will do what God said. But the problem is a lot of people don't love God, right? It's a talk as if you love God, but the reality is you will not fight off your fleshly nature. You'll fall into it.
Is God all-knowing? So he knows.
Yeah,
He knows all outcomes.
Yes, he knows all outcomes.
Does he expect all outcomes, or does he know that?
Yeah.
Is our
That you have a choice.
so?
Because think about it. You know what you're trying to read Isaiah 55, 7, and I'm going to end it. The problem is you're trying to figure out God's mind instead of disciplining your own mind. That's what we do a lot. We try to figure out why did God do this or why did God do that. But do you know it's wrong to sleep with multiple women?
Yes.
So can't you stop that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you focus on.
Okay, so say you have a 5-year-old and you leave a knife around the 5-year-old, and you know more than likely he's gonna pick up the knife and hurt himself. But you say, I want to see if you really love me enough to not pick up the knife.
Did he leave a knife around you, or did he give you a book, right, and laws? Because remember, you're talking about now. Right now, you don't know the laws, right? Back then, we knew everything as the Bible said. Actually, before he punished them for anything, Moses taught it to them. Abraham had the laws. He gave them what they were supposed to do, and then they said, even though I know what I'm supposed to do, I'm not going to do it. Just like Eve.
Even if you tell the kid, don't touch the knife because you're going to hurt yourself.
So, so watch this. You have a child? No. Okay. That's why you got to understand how children are. We're called the children of Israel, right? When you got a child, you could tell your child not to do certain things, but they eventually have to make their own choices. God understood that about you. Eventually, you're going to grow up, right? And you're going to have to make your own choice. So I can tell you what to do, but I give you the ability to make the right choice.
Does that mean you don't love your parent?
No, because we all have kids. You got a brother? Any siblings? That's your brother? Yeah. I know that. Okay. All right. Yeah, I wasn't looking at them like that. Oh, you're staring at them. Anyway.
All those who follow the commandments are my brothers. If you don't...
So, huh? Yeah, that's what I'm like. I ain't looking like.
He saying it like, we don't look alike.
Nah, I didn't know that. Anyway, right? So the point is like, think about it this way. If your parents told y'all both to do the same thing, one of y'all didn't listen multiple times, right? If your parents say, yo, don't turn on that TV, I'm leaving. And then one of y'all turned on the TV. That means one of y'all was the righteous one who listened, and one of y'all was disobedient. God understands that's going to happen.
But as the parent, why even leave the TV in the?
So you want your parents to carry the TV out the house and take it out?
Take the remote or something. If you don't want them to watch TV or a special channel.
God made the earth with temptation in it to see if you will fight. That's the short answer to your question. Isaiah 55 says that's the whole purpose. He wants to see, just like your parents, when they discipline you, they want to see if you're going to follow what they told you to do. Go ahead. Isaiah 55 verse 7.
Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 7. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. And let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him. And to
see
our
God.
God,
so you gotta forsake your wicked ways. Go ahead.
and he will have mercy upon him. And to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts.
That's the issue we got. We're trying to get our thought process on line with God's, and your thoughts are not God's thoughts. You don't understand the end and the beginning. What he tries to do is give you enough of it that you can handle, but there's things you can't understand. There's things that are happening in the earth that you can't see. Like we all breathing oxygen right now. We don't even understand the makeup of it. Right? You don't understand that if there was a little bit more nitrogen in it, you would explode. These are things that we don't understand. We just breathe air every day. So from the time you was a baby, you came out your mother's womb, you've been breathing air because God has thoughts that are above your thoughts. Go ahead.
I got a question.
Neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord.
So neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord, right? So what we got to understand is the Lord did it for a purpose. When you go in the Bible, you understand the purpose. He wanted to see it. You were going to follow what the Bible said. And we never did, right? When you read the Bible, the people of the Bible never followed what God told them to do. The Israelites always said, I'm going to do my own thing. I got a better doctrine. I got another idol that I think makes more sense. This would be better. If we went back to Egypt, it would be better. And we still had that mindset today.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is